How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes here today on Cardano price predictions and where it could be by 2025. Now, I'll apologize first off the bat because my hair's a little bit crazy. We had the new puppy, so I was actually up with her a good majority of the night, but we're going to break down the numbers behind Cardano. And right off the bat, I should tell you that there are a couple different ways that you can average into Cardano. Assuming you're bullish on it and you want to add over time, they can definitely help you in the long run. And we're going to go over a couple different strategies to average in after we take a look at some price predictions and where it could be and how much you could make off of it depending on how much you dollar cost average or lump sum into it. So we're going to look at all that. If you guys don't mind just hitting the like button, I really appreciate that. Also, if you guys want, there is a link down there to Voyager, which is going to give you interest on your Cardano. I use it personally. That's where I hold all my Cardano. And it's going to be really important to get interest on Cardano, as you'll see here in a minute. So Cardano is a blockchain platform for change makers, innovators, and visionaries. Now, we're not going to go too deep into this. It's similar to something like an Ethereum. Now, they work a lot more on the research side. They don't just implement and then fix later. A lot of the time, they will run studies and studies and studies, and they are backed by research and development. So that is where we are with Cardano. So let's see what some analysts are saying. Now, there are a lot of different price predictions out there. Everything from $40 in 2022 to $18 by 2033. So this here, we're going to assume a couple different things, and we're going to take a look at the numbers here and kind of break them down in a few different scenarios, depending on how bullish you are. Now, Bitcoin right now is sitting around 41,400, Ethereum's around 2,445, and Cardano's around $1.30. Now, something that's interesting about this is when we looked a couple months ago, Bitcoin was around 34,000, 35,000, and Cardano was actually at $1.40. So Cardano has not come back up with Bitcoin. It's come back about 30%, but it was actually higher before when Bitcoin was actually down further. So it definitely lagged behind Bitcoin, and it's lagging now. This is something that we're used to seeing in the cryptocurrency market, which is that Bitcoin moves first and then a lot of the other altcoins follow. Now let's take a look at where this could be if we went back to all-time highs. So Bitcoin's all-time highs right around 64,000, Ethereum around 4,400, Cardano around $2.50. Now, in a lot of these scenarios, I'm going to show all three because you're going to see how they stack up next to each other. So at $2.50, we're back at an $80 billion market cap, still much smaller than Ethereum. You can see here about 1/6, actually a little bit less than 1/6 the size. So to become a millionaire at this point, you would actually need 525 grand if we went back to all-time highs. And I realize that's too much for a lot of people. But also, if we go back to all-time highs and you're putting all the money in Cardano, it still is only going to just under double. So it would take a lot of money at that point to become a millionaire from it. So you would need about 404,000 Cardano. Now let's talk about like end of next year, something that could happen, or end of this year. So a lot of people think that by the end of the year, Bitcoin could hit $100,000. We could have a market cap around just under $2 trillion, which honestly is not that high when you consider the market cap of gold and the fact that a lot of people think that Bitcoin is gold 2.0. So then Ethereum is just 1/2, we'll say, the size of Bitcoin. I think if we get to 100,000, we'll definitely see some pumps in the altcoins because Bitcoin moves first and then the altcoins follow. In this scenario, we're going to be ultra conservative. We're going to say that Cardano only goes up to $5. So there are a lot of different theories behind this, but we're going to say, okay, Cardano hits $5. It's a little bit more than twice its all-time high. That would make it so that we would need about 200,000 Cardano, or we would need to spend about $260,000 now. Now, that's a bullish scenario, but there are more bullish scenarios, and we're talking about 2025, right? So this is still end of 2021, maybe 2022 that we're talking here. We could see Bitcoin hit something more like 150. In that case, if we see it surpass 100, I think there will be a huge pump A lot of people will be getting into crypto. Now, if you want to see my video on Bitcoin and the 41 reasons I'm bullish on it, I'll put it up right above the video here and on the end screen so you can check it out. But Bitcoin at 150,000, we would say Ethereum still half of that because, again, very bullish scenario. You would think that a lot of the altcoins would push. We're going to say Cardano just goes up to $10. And I think that could definitely happen. That would put it just over where Ethereum is now, but that would have Bitcoin 4xing. So I think it's something that could definitely happen if we're in this really bullish scenario. At $10, we would need 100,000 crypto. So we need 100,000 ADA, which would be $130,000 worth now. And I realize this is still really large numbers to become millionaires, but again, millionaires in a year, that's not going to be easy. So let's look a little bit further down. Price of Bitcoin hits $250,000. Maybe this is 2023, 2024, maybe it's 2025, maybe it's, beginning of next year, who knows. Bitcoin hits 250,000, still less than half the market cap of gold. Cash to become a millionaire. For Bitcoin, you would need about 4 Bitcoin or about 165 grand worth now. Ethereum, in that case, if it's still half the market cap, is about $20,000. Cardano, we'll say, hits $20. So it's still only 1/4 the size of Ethereum. We're going to put this in a bullish type scenario. Again, maybe this is 2025, but that's still great. I mean, these kinds of returns are huge. That would be over a 10x return. That would be about 15x return for Cardano. So in 3 or 4 years, that's honestly very good. Now, again, we'll get into how you can actually take advantage of something here in a second to actually get more Cardano, and we'll look at dollar cost averaging. Here we have $57 or $58 Cardano. It's still just 1/5 the size of Ethereum in this scenario. This is a flippening scenario, like I said before. This would have Ethereum at 80,000 if Bitcoin hits 500,000. Cardano is only 1/5 the size of that. And then we have another scenario where Ethereum is only half the size of Bitcoin, and then Cardano is the same size as Ethereum. So kind of like a flippening here, right? A lot of people think that Cardano can actually surpass Ethereum long term. That would put Cardano at $145. So what was I talking about? How could you take advantage? Well, sometimes there are dips. Now, this is why I believe in having some cash on the sidelines, but I also believe in dollar cost averaging, and we'll look at some of the power of that here in a second. But in early January 2018, the value of an altcoin of Cardano hit $1.16, peaking the market cap at $33 billion. Kind of crazy when you think we're at about $1.30 now, and everything that has happened has made us so much more bullish. And this is 3 years later. So you can see that it was actually short-lived and led to Cardano falling down to 4 cents, marking the end of 2018. So this drop was actually 96.6%. That's a huge drop, right? That would be devastating to a lot of investors, but a lot of investors were actually able to buy in. So let's look at a future drop. Maybe we fall 50%. If we fall 50% from where we are now, that would put us at 65 cents. Now, it would be hard in this day and age to fall down that much because, again, that would be almost half of what it was in 2018. But there are going to be dips, and that's why I do believe in holding some stablecoin. That's why I hold a lot of it on BlockFi and over on Voyager, links underneath the video. I think that it does help when you can buy those dips. Now, I do believe in dollar cost averaging. I don't believe in waiting necessarily for the dips because we've had some dips and you've been able to buy at much lower prices than it was in the past. There's nothing to say that Cardano is going to fall under $1 again. But if it does, that's where you try to maybe take money from other assets if you can. Now, this is not financial advice or anything like that, but let's take a look then at what scenario I think will actually play out. What's the most likely scenario? I think this scenario is the most likely, and this was right up here. So 250,000 Bitcoin by 2025. We have a market cap that's just under half the market cap of gold right now. You would need 4 Bitcoin then to become a millionaire. Ethereum hits around $20,000. Again, this isn't even that much of a pump from where we are now compared to the normal market cycle, but it's going to be harder to continue at that exponential rate. We're going to probably have to level off a little bit, right? Because there's only so much money in the world and so much that will flow into crypto. Cardano would be worth about $20 in this scenario. So to become a millionaire, you'd need about 50,000 Cardano. Now, again, if we saw a price drop and you could buy up right now, it would cost a lot less. So instead of 65,000, it would cost like 32,500. So let's take a look at some different examples of how you can dollar cost average. Let's say you have $20 a week. So you would invest about $1,000 a year, $20 a week. And we would say that ADA is going to exponentially move up to that $20 mark. So it's going to move up to about all-time highs by next year. It's going to about double after that, double, all the way up to $20. If you had $1,000, you would buy about 800. You would get, if you used Voyager down below, or if you staked, I actually like Voyager because you don't have to give up access to your crypto. You would have about 46 Cardano that you earn, and then you would have about 846 at the end of the first year. Then you buy another 404, so you're buying less because the price is higher. But you get interest from this amount and from the amount you had the year before, so your interest goes up every single year. By the end, you would have almost 2,000 Cardano or 2,000 ADA. Total invested would be only about $5,200 over 4 years. And you would have, or over 5 years, and your value would be about $39,000. So not bad, right? That's a good return, 8x. Passive income, you'd be making just over $2,000 a year from staking or interest. Now, let's say you can throw in a little bit more money. Let's say you can put in $20 a week. You do the same thing, all the numbers are doubled. In the end, you can see here that you've invested about $13,000. You've made almost $100,000. Now, you have passive income about $5,700. Now, this is a little bit more than double, right? Because it's about 2.5x or so. So that is a scenario where we are actually making a good amount of passive income, over $100 a week by the end. Then what if you can put in 100, just a couple more scenarios here. You would have invested about 26,000. You would have almost 200 grand, and you'd be making about 11,000 a month or 11,000 a year. And then last scenario here, let's say you had a lump sum. I think this is one of the better scenarios. If you can do this, that's great. Of course, I believe in diversification. So let me just say that right off the bat. If you only have $5,200 a year to invest, I personally, if I was in that scenario, I would not be putting all of it into Cardano. But let's say you can invest a lump sum up front. Let's say you decide, okay, I really want to add to Cardano right now, and then I'm also going to dollar cost average over the year. Let's say you could put in 3 grand right away and then $100 a week. Now you can change these to your own numbers, of course, but at ADA at $1.30, you would be able to get over 6,000, which is awesome. You would get interest of 360, and then you could grow your stack. Your total invested would only be about 29,000, which I realize is a lot of money, but again, it's over 5 years, so maybe you get raises at work or something like that to make it a little bit easier. Your value would be about 258,000, which would give you passive income of about 15,000. So of course, we can say anything we want about price predictions. Like I said, we actually had someone that is very popular in the crypto space with 122,000 followers saying that he gave a price estimate of $40. We can go through all the different price estimates we want. We could go and say Cardano's could be $145. So here we can look at that more bullish scenario where we have $145 by 2025. Now, this would actually give you, if you dollar cost average in the way that we just talked about, that would give you 1.5 million with passive income of about 87.5 thousand, which is huge. Of course, we can change numbers however we want, but again, I think it will be closer to 20 to maybe 30 or $40, which is still an awesome return, much better than you'll get in indexes and would be very hard to match in an individual stock. Now, of course, I'm not a financial advisor, so do your own research. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can check out the links down to Voyager to get an interest rate on your Cardano. And if you guys want, there is a link down there to the Patreon to see exactly when I buy and sell different cryptos and different stocks. Thank you, and definitely check out this video here on the end screen on 41 reasons to be bullish on Bitcoin.